Hi, how you doing today? Hey, come on in and I'll show you my digital sketchbook on my iPad. I use the app Procreate mostly for drawing, and so we'll take a look. I'll give you a tour. So this is my iPad. It's a 12.9 inch iPad Pro, and I use Procreate right there, that icon, to draw in, and that I'd show how I organize my files and also just my digital sketchbook. So we'll open up Procreate, and I've been using Procreate for since last December, somewhere around in there, and so that's been about 10 months because it's October now. And so anyhow, I've got a few drawings here, and how I organize mine is over here I have works in progress, finished sketches, doodles, and then just a couple of files of things the kids have done and just things I've done before I actually got my Apple Pencil and started drawing in Procreate. So, but it's these three files that I wanted to concentrate on. Again, there's not much difference between my doodles, which is basically what I'll just kind of be sketching out when I'm trying to get ideas, or watching TV maybe, and I'll just be sketching, just doodling, versus works in progress, which are things I take a little more seriously, that I'm going to try to finish, and then once I get them finished, then I move them over into obviously my finished sketches. So we'll start out with works in progress, and I'll just kind of show you what I've got in there. And again, there's not much difference between doodling and works in progress. They're all at various stages. Sometimes I'm just doing to get ideas. Again, what I have here, this was just, I hurt my hand about a month ago, and I haven't been able to draw at all. So what I've been doing, this is basically some practice, trying to hold my Apple Pencil to try to get back into drawing without it hurting too much on my hand. So that's what this sketch is. These really could be in the doodle folder, but again, this is just how I was working in works in progress. So I just kind of did that. Can give you a tour. This is actually the one I was working on when I hurt my hand, and so I never got to finish it. It was for a video that I was doing, a series on running from couch or zero running to being able to run a half marathon in 10 weeks. And I was going to do this artwork to celebrate the finish of it, and also as the thumbnail cover for the video, but I didn't get to finish that. So this one I will finish eventually. Kind of just blow it up there, and again, these were a rough sketch that would have ended up being a finished piece eventually, and may still be. This I was trying to come up with a drawing of our truck. I was going to do again, this was going to be a thumbnail for a video I was doing on working on my truck. And I just never got around to finishing it before I finished the video. And this was basically one of the first rough drafts. Again, I was just trying to work out ideas on how I could illustrate that it was a Ram truck. So this one I may not finish. The other one I will finish eventually. Almost everything in here will be finished eventually. This one's technically could probably move into the finished folder. And it was laundry day. We live in an RV, and we're in an RV park, and so we do laundry over at their facilities. So I kind of drew this trailer outside, the view from the windows here, and then the washing machines. So this one's technically finished. I just haven't moved it over yet. This is just where I kind of came up with our logo for our YouTube channel. That one should be moved as well. This one I've been working on ever since the first day we moved into our RV. This was our neighbor at the time in the RV park we were at. This was really a hippie looking motorhome with really cool paint designs and stuff. It looked right out of the 1960s. I have a photo of that I'm kind of working from, and eventually I'll get around to finishing that. This is just a comic strip thing, a graphic novel I've work on every so often. I actually end up turning the layers off. The finished layers are in the black. And again, nice thing with Procreate, you can blow everything up really nicely. And that's just huge there. And you can see the lines are still really solid. And that's what I like about Procreate. It's not a vector program, but you can do it in such high resolution that it almost doesn't matter unless you're really going to blow it up. You can see the lines start getting a little jagged, but that's huge. So anyhow, I start off drawing almost all my drawings in blue and just do a rough sketch with those, and then I'll take the red and add more detail to those. And again, these are like the red, I'll do some shading just to see what it's going to look like a little more, and from there, and I don't always stick to it, I'll start inking it in just as if it was on paper. I don't always stick to my blue or red drawings, and as I'm inking in, I'll change things and stuff. So but that's that one. Kind of working on a snowy winter day scene here that I haven't worked on for quite a while, but that's what that one is. Just working on some portraits, just trying to draw some. Yeah, I think that one was from a photograph. Still a lot of practice. This I haven't got very far at all on. This is from a bridge. I think it's called the Lion Bridge in St. Augusta, Florida, which is a really cool bridge that I want to try to draw. And this is I think an Art Deco street in Miami that I saw that I wanted to draw. And again, sometimes I just get started and then get sidetracked. This is actually a rough sketch from a finished piece that I've already done. This one probably should be in the doodles. And this is just one I was having fun with. It's going to draw zombies running in Vibrams to use as a thumbnail for one of the videos I was working on at the time. It's pretty easy to create folders in Procreate, so that's what I do. And then I just, every so often, I'll reorganize everything. And again, these are just doodles. They're when I'm first learning either a tool or trying a new pen, or just thinking I need practice, like with body language, just playing around with paintbrushes and stuff like that. Or when I'm watching TV, I might just draw a pose I happen to see. But again, like these were doodles. This one ended up being a finished piece that I started out just sketching it, doodling it here. And same, this is part of that comic strip I showed you. Kind of got ideas for that just from doodling this. And these are just more doodles while I was watching TV. And just playing around with brushes and stuff. Typical stuff. I don't know if you guys doodle at all, but I do quite a bit, or did before I hurt my hand. Now I've hardly done anything. That's just it. A lot of it's just stuff that isn't meant for anybody to see, just stuff I'm doing again while I'm watching television, usually. I think that's about it on those. And then my finished pieces, you've probably, if you're on Instagram and find me there, you'll probably see most of these, or on YouTube. Like I did a whole quick time-lapse thing on drawing this one. And some of these again are just sketches. This was from in our house before we moved into RV. This is just from our front window. And this one was just doodles, and I was just playing around. I really liked how this eye turned out. And again, it was just a doodle that I just kind of kept going, finished it. It wasn't meant to be anything serious, but then after I did it, I kind of liked it. We were watching some zombie Walking Dead or something like that at the time. But yeah, I just have different sketches. This is in a building in Albany, Oregon. Actually, this one I drew on location. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. The colors aren't what the building was. It was just colors I liked. Our grandkids, the twins, love Plants vs. Zombies, so I draw them a lot for them. And every time they see him, they smile and say, "That's me," or whatever, because they all have their favorite characters. These are just some stuff that I do for work occasionally, but nothing I publish yet. And again, just some working on portraits a lot. This is probably my most detailed piece I've done. This is from a photograph I saw of migrant workers in Florida. Again, I build these on layers. I'll see if I can get the layers to show up. So I can turn everything off. Everything's on its own layers except for when I make mistakes. So got the colors, which is nice because I know always if I don't like the colors, I can go back and do a second drawing, and which I've done. I've printed these line drawings out and colored them either in Photoshop or just shaded like I've done a version of this, just with a pencil in black and white, and use the pencil as a shading to get some color on it, which I really liked. Again, oops, got started out with blue drawing, and then I went to red, and then inked it in. So that's pretty much it on that one. But I kind of liked how this one turned out too. Not happy with the line work, but I like the detail on it. This is another Plants vs. Zombie. I think I do have a YouTube video on this one, a time lapse. This one I like a lot. It's got Plants vs. Zombies plus some of my own just made up characters and made up backgrounds. I really don't know much about Plant vs. Zombies, but the twins do. And plus I think on one of these videos I did of the zombies, I kind of did my own mashup of a couple songs that accompany it that sounds kind of cool. That goes along with one of these two. Let's see where we at. Oh, this one I kind of did for work. We haven't used it yet, but we do a lot of salmon issues. And I like how this one turned out, and I like the textures you can get with Procreate. It looks like watercolor paper on the way I do these, so I like that a lot, the texture that it gets. I also did video on most of these. I've done videos on since Procreate will let you do videos. This one's a combination of the capital here. This is the Indianapolis Capitol, or Indiana Capitol in Indianapolis. This one, the capital I actually drew in ink on paper, scanned it in the computer, and then finished the rest of the street and the coloring in Procreate. So that works really well. I kind of like doing that to get it. That way you actually get the feel, real lines in there. You see they're kind of fuzzy compared to the Procreate lines. But I just kind of like how that looks, especially through here. It just gives it more of a feel, a political cartoon kind of feel for me. And yeah, I kind of liked how that turned out too. And again, this was for the 1 week 100 people challenge that Urban Sketchers or somebody along those lines does. And so just kind of drew these up, trying different things. Also did some real paper and ink drawings just with an ink brush, and doing these. This one was obviously on Procreate, but I did the on some paper and some similar work that I really liked. It was the first time I've done it, so that was interesting to me. And that one doodle I showed you, where I told you was ended up being finished work, I just did that off. I redid it here and just filled it in. This one I just made up, just kind of go along with that graphic novel, trying to get a feel for it, and just kind of a doodle that I just completed. And this is another one I got from work, Cranberry Harvest, that again, I was just learning Procreate and using the Apple Pencil, so it was just trying to keep it loose and just get the rough idea. Hopefully if people know what a Cranberry Harvest is, how they do it, that could work. They would know that. And then just the boys, we were watching Nightmare Before Christmas, and so I drew these for the boys. And this was, I think, my first drawings on using the Apple Pencil, so I was just trying different things. And this was when our daughter Rebecca was in the hospital. I kind of just sketched things out. And January, when she was in the hospital. And then when our grandson NJ came to visit, he had to wear a mask while he was in there. And so I kind of drew him while he was there. Nice thing with drawing with an Apple Pencil and an iPad is when you're like in a place like a hospital, it doesn't make any noise or, you know, turning pages or anything, so you can just sketch things out really quickly and quietly, not disturb anyone. And this is actually, if you noticed, get up here, this drawing, I just copied this drawing over onto this, and then did a whole background to finish it off. And, yeah, these are these Gargantua and his Nymph or something like that is one of the boys' the twins' favorite characters. And this was another one I did during laundry day in the RV park. Just saw this little teardrop of a trailer, and then decided to kind of draw it and paint it while we were waiting on laundry. So that's the finished sketches. These other two are just something my grandson drew on the tablet here, and I wanted to keep. And then these are just some portraits and stuff that I worked on with either my finger before I got my Apple Pencil, or this old big broad stylus thing. That's about it on that, but this is how I organize my Procreate files, and then kind of how I draw to get to the finished pieces. You know, I'll start sometimes with a doodle, then move it into works in progress, and kind of play with a little more, and then when I get that completed, I'll move it into works in progress. And from there, once I get more files, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but we'll figure that out when the time comes. I may move it into a Dropbox or some other cloud service so I can get it off my iPad. But anyhow, thanks for watching, and if you would like, please hit that subscribe button so you can kind of follow along. I do RV and truck videos for just life in the RV, and some sketching videos, and then just life in general, so to our YouTube channel. So anyhow, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.